I read an article yesterday about the dangers, about how atheists are affecting the McCain campaign.
Is that so, really?
Yes. And it turns out that the atheism is a factor in the McCain campaign.
That's very interesting.
Because people are getting so fed up with the Bush administration and his theocratical views. And then McCain comes out with a promise to give the Christian right. He promised Pat Robertson more judges. He promised more judges like Scalia, like Clarence Thomas. You know, they call it a strict interpretive government. Really what it means is a pro-theocratic government. And
well, McCain's got problems in that area because he's got conservatives that he has to appease, and he's got conservatives that he's never going to appease.
Right. And they've got
he's really juggling right now.
And me personally, I will say for the record, and I've said it for the record many times, I am a Republican. Okay, I haven't voted Republican since I voted for Christy Whitman back in a long time ago. Okay,
I'll forgive you for Christy Whitman.
The first time Christy Whitman ran, she was a Republican, a pro-choice, pro-separation of church and state Republican, and I voted for her. Okay, I voted for her because I believe in the old Reaganistic, even pre-Reagan republicanism of small government, strong armed forces, and and lower taxes.
Well, there are those who say that the quote-unquote conservatism in government today isn't really true conservatism.
Oh, it's very far from it. It's a melding of religion and government and big business. And because of that, I haven't voted Republican in a very long time, and I won't. Mm-hmm. And I will vote Democratic personally all the time now, until a Republican comes in like Christy Whitman, who can say, hey, let's get back to basics here. This is not about religion in government. This is not about theocracy. This is not about big business. It's not about oil. It's about lowering taxes, a strong military, and protecting our people with with a strong military.
They don't make Republicans like Everett Dirksen anymore.
They don't. They don't. They make Democrats like that. And the Democrats are starting to start a little bit sheepish. But I want to get back to the point of this McCain article that I saw, and I wish I'd brought it with me. But the problem that it was going for was that the atheistic voice, the atheistic movement, was actually having a hit on the McCain campaign. That they are looking at, and if you look at, if anybody out there can probably Google atheism and McCain, and this article will pop up. It basically states that atheism is becoming an issue. We're being recognized as a voting bloc. In other words, we're actually succeeding. Wow. We're actually succeeding in what we're doing.
That's amazing.
It was a very big article. And what I think you're seeing is that people are reacting negatively towards the old "we're a Christian nation" crap. To the old "we're a Christian nation" stuff, where you have to be religious in order to be patriotic. One nation under God. They're rejecting that, not only because atheists are coming out of the closet, but because they're sick and tired of getting it from the government.
That's right, and because, as we said on the last show, this whole separation of church and state thing is not just an atheist issue anyway.
And people are finally beginning to recognize that.
I hope people are getting fed up. I think you're a tad more optimistic than I am, but I'm willing to be convinced.
I'm getting very optimistic. I am getting very optimistic, and I'll tell you what I've said on the blog. I've said this on nogodblog.com. I have said that if we do this right, we can make substantial strides and really be players in 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years from now, we can almost succeed. We can be at the point where our objective has been achieved, where atheists have a seat at the table, where you don't have to be religious to be a politician. I think we can do it in 15 years. Pete Stark right now is a non-theistic, let's use the word, he's an atheist politician. He's a congressman. And guess what? He didn't get any negative bad stuff from that. I have talked to the other political action committees, and there are other seated congressmen.
Oh, yes.
Other atheist-seated congressmen. And I personally think that it is among American atheists' top priorities, among other top priorities of the atheist movement, to get those other congressmen who are atheists to come out of the closet. They have seen it. They have seen that there is no reaction. You know,
and to get more atheists to run for office, too.
Yes, absolutely. But in order to get the atheists to run for office, we have to get the atheists who are in office to say, I'm an atheist, and then get reelected.
And deal what we have in front of us right now.
And get reelected and say, all right, we have this. He's been an atheist all this time. He hasn't murdered anybody. He hasn't done anything bad. He hasn't, I don't know, slept around on his wife or done any
or been caught in a men's room.
Or been caught in a men's room. You know, he hasn't done any of that stuff. He's just an atheist doing his political thing, he or she. But I think that should be one of our primary foci, to get atheist politicians who are already out there to come out of the closet. Yeah. And that is something that I think everybody should do. If your member of Congress, if your congressperson is listed as unaffiliated or, or Unitarian or anything like that, I know a certain congressman who well, I'm just not going to say that because I want him to come out, but I think everybody should go up to their congressman, if you can meet them, and ask them if they're an atheist.
Right.
Ask them. And if they are, tell them that they should come out. Tell them that they would support you and that you would give them money if they would come out of the closet and say that they're atheists. Because I have already pledged money, and this is not an endorsement of a political campaign, this is my personal pledge. Before I found out that the atheist congressman was Pete Stark, there was a period of time where we knew there was an atheist congressman that was about to come out, but we didn't know who. And at that time, I pledged to that congressman a $500 donation.
Right.
Okay? I didn't know if he was a Republican or a Democrat, and I took care of that. I did that. Okay? And I think everybody should do that. I think everybody should promise that if you come out, if you tell the truth, you're helping the country. This is how an individual person can actually help this country. Because if we go from one atheist congressperson to two, well, that's a 100% growth.
Right.
And every time we do that, we make it more attractive for atheists to run.
Yes.
And more attractive for other atheists to come out. And we improve our standing in the system.
And not only that, but even people who, potential politicians who have a religious conviction but don't want to be pigeonholed into that religious trap. Because I sense that, Obama, sure, he talks about his faith, but I think he talks about it only when he has to. I think he'd rather not even think about it, and correctly so. I don't think it should be an issue, that faith should be an issue, and I hope that other people will, whether they're atheists or not, who don't want religion to be an issue, will take a stand in that area.
The only time that religion is an issue is when the politician makes it an issue. Okay? If you look and compare and contrast Bill Clinton versus George W. Bush, Bill Clinton is a religious man. Bill Clinton goes to church. Bill Clinton, by all intents and purposes, was a religious man. Same with Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
Okay?
Who was a minister. Who was an ordained minister.
Yes. But they didn't push their religion. They didn't take billions of dollars in federal funds, make a faith-based organization, make a faith-based department whose sole purpose is to give money to churches without any sort of oversight. That's a clear violation of the church and state.
And not only churches, but health care facilities for which people have no state requirements.
Right.
Unqualified people. It's not just a matter of pushing religion.
Quite literally.
It's endangering children.
If you've got two organizations who want to do the exact same thing, one is religious and not qualified, one is not religious and very qualified, the religious non-qualified ones get the money, okay, according to the faith-based initiative. And this is a George Bush thing, and this is what makes religion an issue in politics.
Well,
and that's his fault. That's his decision.
Yeah,
it's not us saying that religion should be a part of this. Religion shouldn't be a part of this unless he takes his religion and foists it on American people, essentially putting the Bible above the Constitution and therefore committing an act of treason. And that's what it is. It's treason.